Welcome back to Nature Speaks. We are talking about roots and we want to try and define what a root is. A true definition of a root is that body of the plant that bears no leaves and therefore it lacks any nodes. It is also an important internal structure between stems and roots. The first root that comes out of a stem is called a radical root. Have you ever wondered why? Radical because it's a new venture out of this stem, trying new territories. Therefore, entrepreneurs and them who experiment with new ventures, they are called radical people. The term is gathered from this root as well. Roots often function as storage for vital nutrients at the same time. Roots will generally grow in the direction where one would find nutrients, a correct environment of air, water, and minerals at the same time. A root system consists of a primary root as well as a secondary root. A secondary root is that structure of the root that has been highly developed and is used for transportation as the plants grow bigger. The primary root, however, is not the dominant part of the root system. The whole root system is fibrous in nature, and it is extensive in all directions. There are many different types of roots. We have what they call adventitious roots. Most aerial roots, which are called stilt roots, are also adventitious in nature. They form the largest part of the root system. Then we have aerating roots. These are roots that rise above the ground. You might have wondered how roots function above the ground. Well, those are called aerating roots. Then we have aerial roots, which are a little different from aerating roots. Aerial roots are roots entirely above the ground. Then we have contractile roots. Contractile roots are those roots that pull bulbs and other monocots deep down into the ground, anchoring it. When I discovered the various roots, I was amazed at the various different types. There are coarse roots which develop into a thick wooden structure. Have you seen a huge tree that have hard wooden roots right at the base? Those are coarse roots. Then we have primary fine roots. These fine roots are short-lived, but as they penetrate the soil, they make way for the thicker, coarse roots. Then they have what they call hostorial roots. These are roots that grow from one plant but does not go into the ground. These are roots that grow from one plant if they are side to side. It grows onto the other plant and it begins to suck the nutrients from that plant. These hostorial roots are called parasitic roots. Then we have propagative roots, roots that form buds and so that other roots may flourish and grow. There are what we call proteoid roots or cluster roots. These are dense clusters of small rootlets that have limited growth. Then we have what they call stilt roots, and this root has really amazed me. I have seen certain branches growing and roots will literally drop from those branches into the ground. And because of the very nature of being suspended in the air, holding on to the branches, these roots are called stilt roots. Then we have, of course, storage roots such as carrots and beets. We have structural roots. These are the larger roots that have gone through incredible secondary thickening. Of course, we have surface roots as well. So you see, there are many different types of roots. Finally, there are what we call tuberous roots. This is a root where a portion of the root begins to swell as it absorbs water and nutrients, and it forms something that is edible for human consumption. For example, what we would call sweet potato. The deepest observable root structure in the ground was 60 meters below the ground surface. In fact, in some trees, the root structure can go as deep as the height of the tree. And so if the tree is 30 meters, it has the potential of going 30 meters down underground. It's amazing what a root structure can do. A root structure is vitally important for the survival, for the well-being of a tree. The root structure is incredibly important for the nutrients that has to pass up the stems and go into the trees. Let's explore for a few moments what are some of the functions of the roots. We have seen the different types of roots, but let's spend a few minutes just discussing its function before we get into the spiritual lesson that God wants us to learn. Firstly, roots are used for anchorage. By anchorage, we mean the roots are used to anchor the plant in the soil. Come what may, regardless of the wind or the storm or the rains that fall, the roots anchor the plants in the ground. As they penetrate the soil in search of water and minerals and other nutrients, they help to further secure the tree. In fact, the deeper and more extensive the root structure is, the more firm the tree will become. So yes, roots are used for anchorage. Roots are also used for storage. Roots can store large amounts of energy reserves below the ground for the plant. Some common vegetables are evidence of this storage, such as carrots, which is a good example. In fact, there are some plants which completely die off in the winter. However, when the season begins to change, the plant begins to sprout and grow up again. And we wonder, how was it possible for this plant that was completely dead above the surface to suddenly sprout up when there's a change of season? Well, it's because its roots stored all the energy, all the life-giving nutrients was stored, waiting for the right moment to penetrate above the soil. Some trees have stored reserves underground, which allows them to resprout now and again. Of course, roots are also used for absorption, which is an obvious use of a root. The roots of a tree absorb water, absorb minerals and nutrients for use in the rest of the tree. The root hairs, which are found in most species, are especially important for the absorption of these products by the roots. Finally, one of the most important functions of roots is conduction. The root transport the water and dissolved minerals, nutrients they have absorbed through the stem to the rest of the tree. So there we have it. The functions of roots are very simple: for conduction, absorption, storage, and much more than that, anchorage. When we get back, we will discover what God wants us to learn from this amazing system called the root architecture. Please stay with us.